All right, it's 6 a.m. Central African time. Welcome to Kusile Breakfast Show this morning. It's just 2 days before singene enyangeni yendlovu lonkhulu inyanga ke yaMarch. Dibusiso letinkulu ukuthi ke nalomuhla seloko siyaphefumula. Thank you for choosing to be with us on this breakfast show. Na lomuhla, quite a lot of interesting developments in the country. We saw Minister Neil Reichenberg tabling the budget speech as we know lokubeka imali learning kakhulu and really interesting allocations kuleti imali leti but ke sitakubuka konke nje in detail luhlelo lusaqhubeka lamhla. Lungelele, good morning.
Good morning, Mnguni. How are you this morning?
I'm doing very well.
How are you? Yeah, njengoba usho Mnguni ukuthi vele sizabuka kakhulu kade nje budget speech ya Minister Neil Reichenberg la yetfule itolo. We will have the PS in the Ministry of Health, siphinde sibe na PS in the Ministry of Agriculture. Itokumloko ukuthi the Ministry of Health was allocated a budget of 3 billion emalangeni. This is an amount that represents 10% of the total budget. Indvuna ke Neil Reichenberg itolo ivetele ukuthi the minister ukuthi the healthcare of Eswatini remains a core priority for government, and the ministry is pleased with the notable achievements made so far. The surpassing of the UNAIDS target for treatment and viral suppression of HIV and AIDS in advance of the 2025 goal. Kanti a key sector ngiyo Ministry of Agriculture yona was allocated 1.55 billion emalangeni sabesina PS Sydney esimelana kufaka abantu njengama programs latabe asukunyiswa kulomnyaka timali ohulumende.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. Those two sectors, particularly the health sector, was the first sector that was pronounced Guyoge budget speech, Minister Neil Reichenberg, followed by the education sector. We will look at particularly those two sectors as well again later on the show, as well as the agriculture, as you will also have Mr. Sydney's Milane Lulu. But we also do want to look at ICT. We do want to look at the Ministry of Natural Resources and Energy, as well as, infrastructure development as a whole, fire Katsi, our roads and our railways, all of that at 7:30, the second hour of our program today. For now, let's look at leading headlines this Tuesday morning.
Alright, so let's look at 8 times of Eswatini kuleto leti hamba imbili this Tuesday. Your leading headlines: Neil tables 29.42 billion emalangeni Nkwe for growth budget. There's hope for 246,000 jobless Eswatini. 6 billion allocated for capital projects in bid to create more jobs. Record of 5 billion emalangeni allocation for education, 3 billion emalangeni for health, and 500 million more for security forces. There are mixed reactions. And also leading headlines: disability grant hiked and taxes are unchanged. AKA's alleged killers paid 800,000 rand to have been arrested at Mahwalala. Drugs shortage, forensic age reports reveal more rot.
Kasike kutemidlalo ibuyile with exciting matchups. Big derby in semis. Ex-champs Green Mamba Buffs face off in another blockbuster on March 10 at Somhlolo. Some expert opinion there from Linda Master Dlamini, dubbed the coach and TV sports analyst. Yes, our very own Linda Master Dlamini. His expert opinion has been put there kutemidlalo regarding some of the draws ayo ingwenyama cup lafaka ke ekhathi kudlala kwe Young Buffaloes neyo iGreen Mamba nalamanye ke macembu lafaka ekhathi iHighlanders nembabane Swallows. Ubuka ke ukuthi ihistory ithini sisaya kuwo ke emasemis. Kanti ke kulenye 35 million emalangeni for Somhlolo National Stadium upgrade. On another one, Sundowns Pirates avoid each other. Kanzige from the international front, Everton win appeal to reduce points docked.
Alright, so moving on to the Eswatini Daily News. That is the layout of the key sectors of Minister Neil Reichenberg's speech. Minister Neil's 27 billion emalangeni pro-growth inclusive budget, and there are budget speech pictures inside.
Kanzike ku Eswatini Daily News Sports, the leading story, Derby's delight. Big Mbabane Derby as Swallows face Highlanders while Green Mamba will cross swords with Young Buffaloes in Security Forces Derby in Ingwenyama Cup semi-finals to be played on March 10, 2024. Another one, sports budget unchanged for the 2024-2025 financial year at 19 million emalangeni. On the international front, Ronaldo criticized for obscene gesture.
Yeah, all right. Sinletole tamba imbili 6 minutes after 6. Sibahlole timakethe Spain itindzaba teswati.
Don't be scammed. Our inspectors do not ask for cash payments. Pay your TV license only at specified pay points or call us on 34050163 or 78024545 for more information. Alternatively, you can send a WhatsApp message to 76222000 and we'll chat with you. Pay your TV license today, enhance the industry.
Mhla siphindze sikwamukele ehlelweni imizuzu isiphohlongo kubumbene insimbi yesithuba nadidi indzaba teswati. Emakhosi sekalimemedile libutfo lelutsango ukuthi liphelele esigodlweni yehlane nebuganu bakhe. Lokho kubakele ngalosabambe kuba indvuna yelutsango lwaselubonjeni iphindile tsabetse uma intasimemedelo esigodlweni yelutsitsini. Umkhosi ubhekeke ukuthi ucale mhla tisiphohlongo kute kube ngumhla tilishumi enyangeni yeNdlovulenkhulu.
Eswana lalela ngikutshele tindzaba letibuye enkosini. Eswana uthokandaba lutsango lonke laselubonjeni aluphelele ehlane esigodlweni ngalesihlanu mhla tisiphohlongo iNdlovulenkhulu lite nebuganu bakhe mhla tiyimfica engomeni lutsango mhla tilishumi liyachithwa lutsango bongozi usho njalo Mswazi omnyama kulabathuni ulodungandaba sembelebelweni ulodungandaba semambondweni bayethe wena waphakathi
bayethe wena waphakathi
phezu komkhono ngikuthunywa ngawo emakhosi luthango kufanele ukuthi livunule umhelwanelo ol-orange ngemgcibelo bese ngelisondo livunula umhelwanelo obomvu lungavunule mabalabala luthango alube luhle lukhethete ngalelo langa bayethe wena waphakathi.
Timphunga setitfumise inkhulumo yenkhosi setfule nayivula sigaba sekucala sephalamende elishumi nakubili. Loku kulandzela sishukumiso lesiphakanyiswe ngumhlonishwa Ndvunankhulu Russell Dlamini.
Nayihlala indlu yetimphunga umhlonishwa Ndvunankhulu Russell Dlamini uphakamiseke isishukumiso endlini lapho bekacela khona indlu ukuthi ihambe iyawubonga inkulumo lethulwa iNgwenyama inkosi Mswati wesithathu ngesikhathi ke silo sivula sigaba sekucala sephalamende yelishumi nakubili.
Inkulumo yayo inkosi yaba comprehensive kube bengingasho kanjalo ngesilumbi. Letinye tingoni ngete ngatitsinza tonke kodwa ke ngidakhuluma letimqoka nje ukuthi inkosi yakhuluma ngemnotho kwekuqala nje ngoba konke kuncike emnothweni nasifuna kulwa ne-unemployment ufuna ukuthi kukhule umnotho nasifuna kulwa nato tonke letinhlungu letikhona letavele esibayeni tonke tigcile ukuthi umnotho ube ngilo kahle lotawukhona ukuthi ukhicite usimame Kodwa ke lo umqoka kakhulu inkosi iyakukhuluma la ukuthi umnotho wethu sengakhula kakhulu kunaloku lokhule ngawe eminyakeni lophelile. Ukhule ngendlela yokuthi ukhona ukusekela sive ukuthi sihlale kahle. Akukhanza ke kumqoka kakhulu kweloko ukuthi vele lapho uhulumende fanele agijime khona. Yaphinze imbuko yemhlaba yathinza stabilization fund lesikhwama lesenta ukuthi usimama umnotho nalapho khona mhlawumbe imali eqhamuka ngaphandle ngasito letanele ukuthi sisakhiwe sikhuliswe leso sikhwama. Yenza futhi yakhuluma ngokuthi ngetulu nje kwaleso sikhwama kufuna ukuthi live lifike lapho kubhekeke khona ukuthi sale likhona kudimela lingasanqiki etimalini leqhamuka ngaphandle.
Timbungana nato tisukumile ngekwehlukana kwato tayibonga inkulumo yengonyama tabonga ke nalesishukumiso takhombisa nekusesekela futhi. Standing Order 194 uyachaza ke ukuthi kuyawuthi ingonyama nayithula ke inkulumo eParliament mengameli wato Timbunga bese ke uyahamba uyakangwane uyawubonga yona inkulumo. Kanti ke le standing order siphinze ke sinikete indlu emandla ukuthi mengameli angaphekeletelwa Timbunga letintathu. Nembala ke Timbunga letintathu bese setiyakhethwa letiketi fayikhasi umntana Nkosi Gcokoma, Imbunga Tony Sibanze kanye nembunga Stucky Motsa. Tizabente Eswatini TV ngilingithin Gule ngiseParliament.
Amaphakelo eminyakati imali wa 2024-2025 lacondzene nekwesekela abafundi emakolleji nasemanyuvesi akhombise kukhula kusuka ku 361 million emalangeni aya ku 647 million emalangeni. Indvuna ilitiko leti-17 nenhlalakahle yato umhlonishwa Phila Buthelezi ithi ilitiko litawukhona kusebenta ngalamaphakelo ikakhulu ngoba ilitiko libhekeke ukuthi licale lihlolisise indzaba yemali lesekela tidzingo tebafundzi emakolleji kanye nasemanyuvesi. Indvuna beyikhuluma ngemuva kwekuthi indvuna yetemafa yetfule emaphakelo alonyaka eParliament.
Lo 647 njengoba besikhona ukuthi labo bantwana laba ku 3500 ama first years seba caterisha over and above lalaba ongoing. Lobe kuthatha inombolo yabantwana lesiba caterishela ko to slightly above 42,500. Kutasenda sikhona ukuchubeka sisebenza ndzaba scholarships ukubhadala tuition nabo ama personal allowances siba sponsorisha ngekhathi nakusada region kodwa ke sitawetama ngoba bengeke sathola lokunengi nangabe kude kuzama kunediswa siyathi lokuthi kunetindzaba lokusafuna tisetshenzwe te ku review ama allowances amithelze ngalempilo le review ama tertiary fees njengoba khamba bese sekulimata le level of education le offerisha kuma institutions but nje kuba i process kufika ekutheni ngigcine ngithola emaphakela leto tindleko leto lesikusebenta kosilitiko kubuka lo ukuthi improve njani ngoba sikhipha le service to lamaswati kufuna ibe ngilesezingene akhona lokho ukuthi afunze imfundo lesezingene aphile kahle until aqede lokho la kufundzela lakho. So we appreciate lesikutholile sitawusebenta selitiko kunakekela wona emaswati.
Litiko letekwatisa netebuciko litawuchubeka nekulekelela ematiko ahulumende ekumikiseni lusito loludzingwa sive asebentisa ke tebuciko netebuchwephesha. Lokho kushiwo indvuna yalelitiko umhlonishwa Savannah Maziya ngemuva kwekuthi indvuna yetemafa umhlonishwa Neil Reichenbach yetfule emaphakelo eminyaka losuka ngenyanga yamabasa kulosetulu uye enyangeni yendlovu lenkhulu eminyakeni lodako.
Is an integral part of Ukula digitalization of the country to expand the ICT kulelive vele sasemzale park as an engine room along as nama regulators na konke lokukhona lapho manje siyabonga lokho and siyabonga ukuthi Minister of Finance when they a speech that is really amazing ngoba it's a balancing act sonke sifuna kumanje more and sonke sibuke yena ukuthi asinike more but kufuna sifunze ukusebenza within our means sifuna ukuthi what can we achieve with what we've got.
Indvuna ilitiko letempilo umhlonishwa Mduduzi Mathebula ithi lelitiko liyachubeka nekusonzeta etfutane lusito lwetempilo esiveni. Ilitiko letempilo liphakelwe imali lengu 3 billion emalangeni lokungu 10% emaphakelweni lethulwe indvuna yetemafa umhlonishwa Neil Reichenbach eParliament.
Indzaba yekudecentralize noma yekwenabisa ema services zethu sivele siseti kwayo kufaka ekhathi yona le yokugeza tinso. Etinyangeni letitako nje sifuna kuyovula esipiki abese siphinze siyavula nase eLubombo kumcoka ukuthi lolu sito lusonzele dude nesive. Naletinye tinhlelo lefana netasesayik bantu bangedi bonke la ekubozakhele nato siyalwenabisa liyele ngaphandle kanjalo nendzabadabo maternity sifuna kumake sure ukuthi bantu babelekela dude nalapho labahlala khona kuningi lesikwendako kulolu hlelo lokwenabisa lusito kokuthi lusonzele dude nesive. Sive sakukhala kakhulu esibayeni ngokuthi sime emalayini lamadze sifuna lusito sisebenta kona. Kungaba kubonga nje uhulumende ukuthi iministry yaka health I prioritize. Nathi ke sitakwenda lokusemandleni ethu ukuthi sive sitakale ngatindzabata ka health. Lokuthinza konje kwenza batemithi nako kungilokunye lokupriority ukuthi imithi ayitholakale etibhedlela itholakale emaklinikhi kumcoka ukuthi for efficiency simende central medical stores ukuthi abe nayo le autonomy akhone ukutimela akhone kusebenta sikubonile kuphumelela etindzaweni njengabo micro project endzabeni leti njengabo Eswatini revenue services la so ubona khona si level ye efficiency sayisetulu nasi ke sifuna kugcina sifika kulelo zinga lelo kulendzaba yekusupplya kwemithi ngungako sithi central medical stores akatimele asebente so that emaswati atothola imithi ngesikhathi nale safe nale yenele.
Indvuna yelitiko letekuhlela umnotfo kanye nentfutfuko umhlonishwa Dr. Tambo Gina ithi kulomnyaka timali lelitiko litawucedza yonke imisebenti lemikhulu kute-ke kutawakheka ematfuba emsebenti kuleli. Indvuna ichaza kabanti ngale misebenti lekumele ifike emaphetselweni kulomnyaka timali wa 2024-2025.
Kwekuqala kwesekela ukuthi lo mnotho ukhule kangcono ukhicite kangcono kusasa. Kwesibili nawo lama projects aletha emathuba emisebenzi ukuthi bantu basebenze. Atawuphela ke nyalo ngaleti mali lesifakile njengabo ICC nelihotela hotel tawuphela bese ke sikhona kuqala lokunye sive senkosi siqasheke lesisebenze. Kepha kwanyalo siyajabula kakhulu ukuthi ba projects lafaka ekhathi bomkhondo ngwavuma nabompakeni dam lawo vela aqonjene ngo nekulwa nebusweti eveni lawo ngiko nje ngathi vele siwasusile emabhiliki ukuthi angena imali kusentshentwe kuyiwembili.
Hulumende utimisele kutsi luhlelo lwekuhlanganisa tindzawo letigcina tilwane i-Big 5 National Park itawuzuza live ngekutsi ke lifakelwe kungu 0.25% emnotfweni welive ngemnyaka wa 2027 kuya ku 2028. Lokuyintfo ke letawutfutfukisa tekuvakasha njengekusho kwendvuna yetemafa uma yethula emaphakelo. Indvuna yelitiko letekuvakasha netindzaba temvelo Jane Mkhonda ithi kuhamba kahle kwalolu hlelo kutawusita kutsi tekuvakasha tikhange tivakashi letinyenti lapha eveni.
Hulumende ngelitiko letekuvakasha solo uchuba umgomo wekuthi leSwatini libe live bantfu labalicabangako nabafuna kuvakasha nekungcebeleka. Naye etfula emaphakelo yalonyaka indvuna yetemafa ithi ke lizinga lekungena kwetivakashi eminyakeni lophelile likhule nga-77%. Etinhlelweni tekutfutfukisa loluhlangothi Hulumende uphokophele ekwakheni indzawo legcina tilwane i-Big 5 National Park. Indvuna ke yelitiko letekuvakasha nendzaba temvelo umhlonishwa Jane Mkhonda uthi ke lolu hlelo lolu lutawutfutfukisa tekuvakasha ngelizinga lisetulu.
Nathi sitawugijima kakhulu siyisebente indzaba ya Big 5 njengoba itsinziwe ngekhatsi ngoba ngiyona project noma ngona msebenzi longona utasihungela noma kukhanga tivakashi kokuthi live lakithi laKangwane kube i-destination of choice noma kube live lebalikhethako noma lebalitusako kokuthi bavakashe kilo ngoba sitabe vele nathi siulandzele Longwe Declaration.
Lokwakhiwa kwale National Park kutawuphindze kwakhe ematfuba emsebenti. Tindzabeni Sondomlangeni ePhalamende.
Kulandzela kutsi indvuna yetemafa Neil Reichenberg yethule inkhulumo ngekwabiwa kwemaphakelo ahulumende eminyaka timali wa 2024 kuya ke kumnyaka wa 2025 lapho khona litiko letekulima labelwe imali lenganga 1.5 billion emalangeni. Indvuna yelitiko letekulima Mandla Chawuka yekhutalwandle lapho ithi litiko litawukwenta siciniseko kutsi live liyasimama indlala iyaphela.
Ivuna ilitiko letekulima Amandla Chauka ithi ngale mali litiko lelabelwe yona litawuvuka leSwatini lisimame.
Ama-project latawuphela owabalile mfuna temafa nema-project lamcoka latawuletha ukuthi kube nentuthuko kutemnotho eveni. Nawubuka-ke nala etikweni kukhona lokhu losikutholile lokufanele sihambe njalo siyokusebenzisa sisebenzise kahle ukuze sikhone ukudondla eveni. Sikhona kondla eMaswati. Siyajabula kakhulu ngebudget. Iyasinika lithemba nathola ugcina ukuthi live litawukhula, live litawuphumelela, live litawusimama.
Uhulumende unetinhlelo tokuthi balimi bafundiswe, baphindze bachase ngokwetimali, balime baphindze bafuye, kuphele indlala emakhaya. Lobikako nguSindiswa Zwane, Anambonga Dube, Kalobamba.
Itiko liniketwe umsebenzi wekuthuthukisa imimango liniketwe imali lenganga 440 million emalangeni. Imali lenganga 177 million emalangeni yesikhwama sekuthuthukisa tifundza pheceleti i-Rural Development Fund. Ansike indvuna yalelitiko ikhuluma mayelana nalamaphakelo omhlonishwa Sikhumbuzo Dlamini. Ithi litiko lisemkhankasweni wekuhlolisisa imigomo lebuke kusebenta kwesikhwama setifundza. Indvuna beyikhuluma ngemuva kwekuthi indvuna yetemafa yetfule emaphakelo alonyaka.
Basically sithi inkundla lokuningi kakhulu ama reforms kunetikhwama etikhona tinkundla entawukhumbula ukuthi RDF ukuthi longanda kushito Minister Finance nge-RDF sizathu lokuthi sibambisene naye lokubukisana lokuthi asesiyende ama reforms kule mithetho yayo RDF than lokuthi siphambethe imali silive egcine kwakhona sigcine ngale ngemuva singabona standende imali lenyalo nje ikakhulu etikweni la finance nakathi inkundla kune exercise ku review ama regulations phinze etikweni letinkundla kunemsebenzi omkhulu lesitawenda kulomnyaka financial year umsebenzi we monitoring kuthi la sifake khona le mali vele mali iyayiletha ne value for money yawashintsha lamaswati vele nawe sikusebenzako sasemnyelo tako kune financial year bese siyacela indvuna yemafa lokuthi hayi manje sikhulisele tikhwama ikakhulu sesinedisekelo ukuthi vele solungisiwe umthetho oqinile indzaba ya poverty reduction fund le bekuyi revenue fund nayo lekhona nakhona lapho sibukile ukuthi asingajake icala imali siwavile kona amaswati esibayeni ukuthi athini kodwa ngete kwasita lokuthi sifake le mali but iphindze ingasabuyi le mali nyalo nje lesisenda kakhulu lonyaka sisebenza la ekutheni le mali itawukhishwa njani ibuye njani ibonakala ine impact kanjani lamaswati.
Sihlalo wetinkampane tahulumende Dumisani Msibi ukuthi batawuchubeka nekusita hulumende avule emathuba emisebenzi nokuthi basite bosomabhizinisi labancane. Msibi ukushito lokhu ngesikhathi yakhulumisana netinsatheli talomsakato ngesikhathi indvuna yetemafa icetsa kwetfula emaphakelo ahulumende.
Kukhula ke kwemnotho kusho ukuthi kuconza ngco kulendzaba temsebenzi. Nakukhula umnotho kutawukhula imisebenzi. Kuvela kwemisebenzi kuconza ngco kuletindzaba tekuphuya. Lokho ke ngilesikudumisako kule nkulumo ukuthi ngidawuthi ngalamanye amagama ayikanhlanhlatsi. Iconze ngco lapho khona kufanele kusitwe emaswati khona. Nase siyibuka ke nje singena engcikithini yayo akayigegi minister indzaba yabosomabhizinisi labancane ngoba phela asikhulume liqiniso mhlaba wonke imisebenzi leminengi yakhiwa bosomabhizinisi labancane sivile ke imisebenzi lehlukene lapha nalapha lekungiyona ingakabuki lokukhipha imali ngoba asesikhulume liqiniso nalapho sijaka ukukhipha imali singakafundzisi singakacenzi sicenzele le mali la itawungena khona ngijabule kakhulu nje mina njengemuntu lokuyo le kuthuthukisa bosomabhizinisi labancane kuthi iyatekwa ukuthi titawuba khona timali tekufundzisa lomunye umsebenzi yakhona seyicaliwe sitawubambisana ke tsine nalaba lekungibona bafundzisa siveleke nalozukana utosi noma sokuhlanyela ukhanze sekuhlakuliwe likhula lungasasika kanganani singadumisa ke nema capital projects nakusukuma lama capital projects thina lesihlele la sihleli khona lesiye sikubona bosomabhizinisi labancane bayasukuma babambe lababamba khona bayangena basubcontractwe ngidingapane letinkulu bende lokho lebangakwenda ngaleyo ndlela lithuthuke live liyembili.
Umphathi welibhange elikhulu e-Event Dr. Philip Nisi sewudumise emaphakelo ematiko kahulumende lethulwe indvuna yetemafani e-Reichenbach. Dr. Nisi uthi lokubalulekile ukuthi lamaphakelo atsintsana lokwavela esibayeni.
Lokuhle kakhulu kuthatha lemiyaleto nalemibono leyaphakanyiswa esibayeni seyivele inkombandlela seyikhona ku-implementa nale policy position lethulwe ngemakhosi at the opening of parliament. Sidumisa ikakhulu kubona lokuthi ikhomba kukhula kwemnotho. Tonke letingoli letawungeniswa ema-projects lakhona tawukhulisa umnotho siyadumisa. Lokunye kuboka ukuthi i-deficit to GDP inciphe. Lokhu kutaba yinto lenhle ekusimamiseni nasekukhuliseni imisebenzi nekwakha imisebenzi yamaswati kuze live lithuthuke. Siyadumisa nathi siyi-Central Bank sitawudlala ingcenye yethu kumbambisa minister nekubambisa live ukuthi lisimame liphindze likhule. Ibudget beyinhle kakhulu. Lokukhulu okunye lekuthokotele ukuthi minister akhumbule ukuthi le old infrastructure nayo inakelelwe. Whilst kwenziwa ama-projects lamasha singayiyekeli lemigwaqo, singayiyekeli le railway line nato tonke letinto latikhombile kuhle kakhulu.
Kutemidlalo indvuna yetemidlalo umhlonishwa Bongani Nzima ethi balitiko bajabula ukuthi kumaphakelo eminyaka wa 2024-2025 kubonakale litiko letemidlalo litfola imali lengu-35 million emalangeni ecedza umsebenzi wokulungisa inkundla yesive kaSomhlolo.
Somhlolo besiya isithole ibudget le around 15 million. But this time around isikhonile kuthola ibudget ya 35 million. Lesikholwa ukuthi asipusha towards attainer lokuthi bas accredite sikwati kudlala kangwane. Sibukile nje ukuthi nakufika laba ka CAF la kubo May June vele kufanele bese sithemkwe sesitibeke ethi neline ngokuthi siyakhona uhosta ema games kangwane.
Tingako tindzaba tesiswati sitawubahlola emakethe sitavuya sichubeka nehlelo.
Be sure to catch Business Watch every Wednesday between 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. where we feature the latest updates on business news, market trends, and exclusive interviews with industry leaders, as well as insights on emerging small and medium enterprises in the commercial sector. Business Watch, your business leader.
Renewal of TV licenses for 2024 is now open. Here is a quick reminder. A viewer's TV license costs 180 emalangeni per device. Other accessories such as decoders and set-top box cost 50 emalangeni per device. For traders and repairers, TV license costs 300 emalangeni per business area. And now, to pay your TV license, use these following methods. You can use MTN Mobile Money with the number 76222000 or dial *007 *3 *7#, or you can use Eswatini Imali. You can pay our TV license at any post office in the country. Another option is you can use any NetBank branch using our TV license account number 119900430037. Don't forget, when paying for your viewer's TV license, reference with your PIN at all times. And when paying for a retailer TV license, reference with your TIN at all times. For more information, call us on 7802-4543 or 34050163 or 34020879. And you can send us a WhatsApp message on 762222000.
Asimile sinimukele siyakuvuselana olosanza kusivulela bezivedele ukuthi sitabe sikhulumisana namabhalane lomkhulu etiko letempilo khanya mabuza sibuka bani nje indzaba lenkhulu levedwe nguye umhlonishwa Neil Reichenberg ngokuthi libonile litiko ukuthi litiko letempilo lisebenteka medima kuzama nje kunciphisa mhlawumbe inombolo tema-infections kanye nekwanzisa lwati nge-HIV and AIDS. Litiko letempilo liphakelwe imali lenganga 3 billion emalangeni lekungu-10% wayo yonke le budget 29 billion emalangeni. Sesivele sinaye emabhalane lomkhulu kuva ukuthi ingabe baku-achieve kanjani lokuvedwe ngiyo Indvuna. Sikuvusele mabuza, thank you for joining us this morning. Indvuna ivetile ukuthi senisebente kakhulu nelitiko letempilo kuzama kwanzisa lwati nge-HIV and AIDS kanye nje nekunciphisa tona tinombolo tebantfu labalitfolako leligciwane. Ingabe nje kuva nje PS ukuthi vele nisebente kanjani niku-achieve kanjani lokho?
Kusile siyavusela kakhulu ehlelweni. Siyabonga nje ukuthi nisi-invite tindzaba letithulwe Indvuna yethu yelitiko letema. Kwekucala nje maybe kusho kulo mbuto lobuteka ukuthi sibonga nje ukuthi Indvuna yende very good analysis ngendzaba ye-health in general la kangwane ukuthi kusetshenziswa njani. Yaphindze yabuka ukuthi sikuphi nekuthi netincabekelwane ama-challenges lesiwafacile. Ku-highlighta nje kulelo vetako ukuthi Indvuna ibukekele ukuthi lapho sisebenza khona kakhulu ngunetindzaba letifana ne-HIV, ikakhulu letifo letifana ngokuthelelana. HIV njengolenye lefana futhi nabo-TB, sibuke futhi nekuthi siyamela nje kanjani i-COVID ngesikhathi ihlasela kakhulu live lakhaya Eswatini. Kule HIV ngicabanga ukuthi Indvuna iteka yona vele sibili ukuthi sidlalile vele iqhaza elisembili kakhulu silivela kangwane kakhulu nje kakhulu kangoba umhlaba vele nawukhuluma nge-HIV nje ngeke ucede ungakakhulumi ngenzaba live laseSwatini. Ikakhulu lesikubukile sibuke indzaba yokuthi live la kangwane la khona ukuthi lihambe kakhulu lishiyela amanye amave labeke umnyaka wa 2030 ngekuthi awufika kunankulu kwaba ngumhlabuhlangene wa-95 labo 95 nabathathu labamcwa kakhulu ku-control HIV because loko kusitha ukuthi one lesive singayitholi HIV i-95 asebenze kahle nalamanye infections ayadropa. Number 2, i-95 asebenze kahle nale sithi kunaka abantu le medical care for its controls because sebancane abantu abagula kakhulu nge-HIV labangathi nje ba-terminal obafuna i-chronic treatment. And then lokunye futhi kuyi-benefit lona 95 ukuthi nalabantu labafako lesithi-ke ngilama-mortality cases ethu they ayadropa now drastically. Kungako nje na ungabuka livela kangwane kule issue ukuthi bantu abasafi i-life expectancy yethu seyikhule yazafika le kubo-63. Uyabona ukuthi leyasihlisa kakhulu ukuthi singasakhona ukukhula zesigubhe ukuthi bantu bese bafa abancane. So nge-HIV lokuyicontrola kundlela esikubonayo lesithi ngama-health dividends buhle bakuthi nangabe i-health vele ibeke mbili live liyakhona lokuthuthuka. Siyabonga nje kakhulu Endvuneni akusike kushiphile loko siyathi ukuthi kusho ukuthi abantu abaningi kufanele bateste and then testing nayo ukuthi idale imali. And number 2 isho ukuthi abantu labatholakala ku-HIV positive kufanele bathole ama-ARVs kube isikhathi lapho umuntu angayithole khona le-ARVs lama-ARVs atakwazi ukuthi le ngadi yakhe vele ihlale phansi ngayigcwane le-HIV. And number 3 ukuthi kunama-test lamanye lapho ukuthi umtimba usebenza njani buke ukuthi ama-liver test and onke lama-test lesifundako nawo lawo angema-cost. So siyajabula ukuthi Indvuna isikhonile ukuthi sibambise kakhulu la kuleli hlangothi lelo. Siyathemba ukuthi nathi sizachuba singalichaza singasabuyi phela emuva.
PS imvuna iphenze yakhuluma ngema health facilities lokuthi inelitiko kunemfusi nalapho leni kwendako kuzama ku improve yona i health sector. Sifuna kuva nje ukuthi ngabe senambe kanganani nje ku implementeni mhlambe lo mgomo lovetako ukuthi lusito alusonzedwe iseveni sive semaswati sihamba at least 8 kilometers kuya emitfolampilo. Ngabe lokhu senambe kanganani nje kufezeni?
Iphinde imvuna iyasihlatiyela le universal health coverage ne access to care lokuthi sikhona sibantu balithola isito nje letempilo lapho futhi lapho lisifaka khona kubangakhandakala ukuthi abasakhona kulithola emave kahlukana lamanye khanda nama good road network ashesha afike kumbe ahamba ngetimoto kakhulu amave la developing thina ke sibe sakangwana sabona ukuthi lokuhamba kwethu ukuthi kungahlukani kakhulu phela ama services khanda ukuthi umhlala le mawulo kwesenzo basifuna kuhamba ufuna ke clinic ukhanda ukuthi umuntu vele sozuyashona le endleleni livela kangwane ke livela la khuthata angisho nje ukukhuthata kwelive uqala kakhulu la ukuthi sibe nalapha acubhutele le primary health care services ngoba leyo isho ukuthi nangabe nje ngiphethe ngoba ngileyo nhlobo lo siphonyana sami ngiphethe ngiyakhona ukuthi ngikumcubhutele lihlelo lisebenza kolele silibonga ukuthi liyasebenza ukuthi le sito le tempilo libe thudana nebantu bese kuba isho ke yalama clinic ethu le sivele siwa akhona cishe lesikhoma ngawo nje lokwabeka la 8 kilometers radius letakhiwo tikhona akhona lama clinic bantu bayangakhona kufika ama clinic angiso ukuthi ikhona tinzawo lapho khona ukuthi lihlelo la hulumende vele inhlanje obushilo nje ukuthi kufanele lapho sambe sofaka umfutho ukuthi lapho kubonakala khona ukuthi kumbe kwakhiwa kusasebenzi kumbe kwakhiwa kwashiya ukuthi kumbe tindawo lapho kufanele sibone khona ukuthi kanjani but nje na ukubuka in general uyabona ukuthi leli vela kankona lihlupha kakhulu empilo ukuthi 8 kilometers radius noma umhambo cishe ube ngemabanga la 8 kilometers umuntu angakhona ukalithola lisito letempilo siyabonga nje kakhulu lokho kuyakhuthaza sekusho ukuthi sekufanele kubuye nesitatifaka la ngekhaya ikakhulu le ndaba ya staff bantu abatawusebenza ke le ukanda ukuthi singaba khona sakhiwo but kufanele kube nalabantu kumele ukuthi phela abekhona lamaphilisi nalokuthi sikhona ukuphola abantu abagula.
Lokunye nje PS imvunele kuvetile itolo ezisatheblisha speech sakhe inzabe ukuthi iyabonakala inombolo ikhula iba setulu inombolo yama patients lafuna dialysis lapha eveni ngaloko ke hulumende so uzama kungeda noma ke extenda mhlambe indzawo lapho khona ukuthi abana lama renal services kumbe ukuchazela abantu njengale projects leyo ukuthi atawungedeka kutiphi idibhedlela futhi kusukela nini.
Indzaba yokugeza tinso iyakhula event ngikumenye singakangeni lapho ukuthi sikhulumise ukuthi kufanele sibuke indlela ukuthi yini lokubanga ngoba le nombolo abantu abafuna ukuthi benze le dialysis iyakhula kakhulu nje uyathenga ukuthi sibuke tembamba ukuthi sibangwa yini ngoba i-dialysis inayo itindleko kulomuntu ophethwe ngiyo phinde betindleko na kuhulumeni. Indvuna ke ikhulume ngako ukuthi na uphethwe ngale dialysis akusikho nje ukuthi ukuhlala esibhedlela lo 2 minutes uphinde ubuye kuba nesikhathi ufuna usihlale la esibhedlela ukhanza ukuthi fanele bahlete kumbe emabhentshini isikhathi eside kanti phela baphethe tinso labanye khanza basabuye nasemakhaya emabhasi abashiyile sekubona inkinga nje ukuthi bani bahamba njani ke ngoba phela abanye bakhona vele bathele nje bazawugeza abaka admitwe lapha esibhedlela. So ekukhulumeni ke lendvuna sibonisana iko ubonke nje labathenzeka ukuthi kungathi singazama lokuthi senwebe ikakhulu senwebe sibuka nje kahle kakhulu lapho kungasidakala khona so kukhulunyuke indaba ukuthi sibuke elibonjeni sibuka indaba ukuthi nasingasebenzisana kwanyalo sisebenzisana kakhulu nebhedlela se-Good Shepherd lapho sitawucala khona sibone ukuthi singasitana njani nayo ukuthi sikhona lokuthi libambe libombo kakhulu nje lithole le dialysis and bese siyaqinisa futhi nezinhlelo ukuthi lapha eGood Shepherd kusebenzeke le dialysis itholakale kahle ngalesikhathi siphinde sibuke eDulu eKaho indaba yase Pixpeak nekwespeak nakhona ibuka le dialysis lokuthi singayenda njani so kulomnyaka ke vele sesiqalile sisebenzisana nalapha sitayo ngoba kuloku ubuciko lobukhulu so kunebantu abasitako ingaba lesitako lesicabanga ukuthi emva kwesikhathi uhulumeni agcina simele kulenza right so sabe sesifiki ke kulo mnyaka nje apho sesifanda khona lama dialysis services.
Alright, sinokuyevakala sibonga kakhulu PS isikhathi sakho. Ambukele bekunye amabhalane lomkhulu etiko letempilo khanya mabuza ukusichazela nje noma ke kusivetela sithombe setinhlelo labati implementako kulomnyaka balitiko letempilo. Sithawu sasalikhefu nasibuya sitabe sicocisana namabhalane lomkhulu etiko letekulima sinisimelane.
Residents of Simunye and surrounding areas are notified that intense TV license door-to-door inspections are being conducted in the region. The exercise starts on the 19th to the 28th of February 2024. Stay alert. Our TV license inspectors will be wearing Eswatini TV gear and will have tags that confirm their identity. Don't be scammed. Our inspectors do not ask for cash payments. Pay your TV license only at specified pay points or call us on 34050163 or 78024545 for more information. Alternatively, you can send a WhatsApp message to 76222000 and we'll chat with you. Pay your TV license today, enhance the industry.
Maphakelo elangeni elayitola. I'm joined by the Principal Secretary etiko letekulima babe Sydney Simelane kuvaka bani nje ngetinhlelo nabo balitiko labatendako lativetile Minister Itolo nakethula emaphakelo asivusele siyabonga mngoni ukuthi benasi nomhlakisana. I think inzaba nje lonkhulukati la ivetile Minister Itolo yi program noma ke hlelo lolusha lenita lisukumisa masinyane nelitiko letekulima farming training program lefaka ekhazi nje mhlawumbe inzaba ukuthi balimi banikedwe ama-loans kuma kusichazela kabanti ukuthi itasebenta kanjani lihlelo ngoba indvuna ivetile nje ukuthi itawufaka imali lenganga 0.25% ku GDP yelive. Kusinikela nje sithomise ukuthi litawucala nini mhlawumbe lo hlelo litawabasita kanganani balimi.
Siyabonga kakhulu ngicela kuvusela umbukele ekhaya ngivusele nawe e-studio umsakade. Leliciniso lithi lama programs bekavele akhona but bekashoda ngema resources ngefunding. So lesifuna ukuthi sikwende nyalo ngilokuthi siwabone asebenta akhicita. Sike saba nesikhalo even lapha khona kude kahle umbila. Even namanje kusete lo wenele umbila. So sibukileke ukuthi kuma activities lesiwenda kwasesihambe siyofuna information kule sive ukuthi yini labadzinga ukuthi bangasitakala ngaso. Last year sibe ne youth summit ngaJune. I-youth summit yabuya nema results lamahle basitshela abantu labasha ukuthi badzinga ini nekuthi singaba assista kanjani. So ke i-ministry itifakile emkhankasweni wokuthi le youth ayitholakale kwendiwe an incubation program la itawufundziseka khona ngekulima ithi ngafundziseka bese ke seyiyahamba ke seyiyocala emabhizinisi abo la official. At this stage ke litiko lithumela mbhodi ukuthi akasebente lokho akuphushe siyafuna kubona ukuthi after a certain period taba khona ama entrepreneurs ngale ku youth etindzabeni tekulima. Lokunye ke lesinako ukuthi lana si developer lendzaba yembila kunetintfo lesitinakile kunebalimi labancane kube khona abalimi labakhudlwana. Lala bancane balimi most of the time vele sisazama kubafundzisa i-commercial farming because basasebenta indzaba yokuthi ngilimela nje ukuthi ngidle which is subsistence farming. So sisabatraina ke le subsidy program nje iconze lokho ukuthi ekugcineni nakuphela umnyaka kube khona umlimi latawusala nakakudle nalaphinze akuthengisa. We have a different phase ke for le ndzaba yokulima umbila. Kunalenye ke lesuka ku5 hectares ke eTulu lesibita ukuthi nguhamba ubuye. Hamba ubuye it means litiko litangunika le mali uhamba uyofaka ema-inputs onke uthi naso uvunile uthatha umbila wakho uthengisele litiko through bo-NMC kanye na-iweight nase wende njalo-ke sebathatha-ke leyabo-ke imali-ke lebe bakuboleke yona seyibuyela-ke emva. We have visited amasimu la abalime khona labalimi mahle kakhulu lamasimu uma besingete saba nalengcinamba ya climate change ukuthi sibulalele lokhu lesile kukhona emasimini siyathembisa sivuno lonyaka ukuthi sitawuba sihle.
Yeah, I think ukuthi nje indzaba ye subsidy program babe semelana nayo indvuna ekhulumile ngayo. It's one of the critical programs la khona itiko letekulima, and the project lena has been allocated an amount of 59 million emalangeni. Is that money enough buka ukuthi ngiyakhumbula nje usho vele ukuthi ma farmers vele seweta aba maningi ekwenza ukuthi labanye sekude labakhanzako le program lena inisebentela kangakanani nje nelitiko as well as ma farmers lapha even?
Angathi noma ngidawusisibe nenhlanhla yini noma kube nema occurrences la wentekako la sikhombisako lokuthi nasingakayendi le subsidy kutakwentekani. Kwaphenze kwaba nalenye incident lesikhombisa ukuthi nasiyende kahle le subsidy sivuno even sibangakanani. We were unfortunate in the sense yokuthi kufika bo COVID sangakhoni ke kulima lama programs a affecteka sehla sivuno lokunye lokusinikele isithombe ngilokuthi sathola iloan at some point in time last year sa supporta ema farmers lamaningi. That's why nje sivuno sakhona sagcina sashutha le kulo 127,000 metric tons. But sithena sedlula kuleyo mali lebesiboleke ku African Development Bank the following year angithi nje kule African Development Bank we funded 15,000 farmers. Kodwa the following year sasesibade loan sabuyela down to 6,500. Phinze sawubona kumbila wehla ubuyela phasi to 80,000 metric tons. So bayadzinga kakhulu ukusupportwa balimi and siyabonga endvuneni yaka finance kokuthi is allocatele letimali letingaka because sethemba ukuthi tawunyuka le nombolo yabalimi labatawufuna kuyosilimela umbila nemabhontshisi nemabele.
Kahle kahle vele Mnguni maningi vele lama projects lamakhulu lamcoka etikoleni wabukile. I think lenye indzaba nje layithinzile minister ngiyendzaba yekuchubeka nekwakhiwa kwempakeni dam kanye ne canal letawusita ekwakhi kulolo dam 630 million emalangeni letawufakwa kule project lena kumcoka kanani ukuthi vele igcine ifike emapheselweni le project lena.
Kumcoka kakhulu ngesizathu sekuthi le project le eshiselweni itawinjinja le area yonke kusuka nje kubo St Phillips yokuphuma endasi kalavumisa itawinjinja lendzawo ngesizathu sekuthi leyo ndzawo leyo is very fertile land but kude manje. So nakude ke lamanti ke the project sibita ngokuthi ngomkhondo ngwavuma augmentation project. Augmentation ke it means sibuye ukuthi sitawuhlanganisa emifudlana lemibili angisho sokuthi mhlambe emifudlana but two rivers lesathi ukuthi atawukhona kufuca lamanti ahamba yofika le eshiselweni njobe ngisho le project yethu is ya advance kakhulu. Nyalo nje besise sitini about a week ago sibuka lokho ukuthi kuhamba kanjani. Bekusavulwa ke noma bekusakhiwa lama facilities ekusebenta lokufaka ekhathe ama camps labatawuhlala khona labasebentako kufaka ekhathe ama bridge ekuhambisa umhlabathi noma nabo crush noma nje material lekufuna iwele lomfula iyofakeka ngale ngesheya la kuvalwa khona leli dam. So all those things sevele ticalile tiyakhiwa siyabona lokho ukuthi noma kanjani nase kuhlangene lokho ke seliyaqala ke lidam seliyakhiwa. It will be very very important leli dam le eshiselweni especially because i-approach yalo yehlukile kuleyo besikwenda kula tinye tindzawo lokufaka ekhatsi bolusipho le esiphofanele. Yona ihluke ngalokuthi ithatha a holistic approach. Sitaw addressa indzaba ye accommodation noma housing, sitaw addressa indzaba ye power ukuthi gas ugenerator kanjani. Sitaw addressa indzaba ye-eco-city bese kuba ke the main project ke eManti.
Yeah, nayo lenye project nje loso itsinzile ebaba simelane lo SIP 2 nakhona imali ingetiwe lo nyaka uvele kunesiqiniseko sokuthi igcina ifika emaphethelweni le project lena njoba nayo as one of the critical kufakwe 417 million emalangeni which is a project letawuletha mhlambe 0.5% growth ku GDP yelive eminyakeni 2024 nayo lena ngunu kuva nje ukuthi itayisita kanjani community support finance iphindze futhi isita kanjani live leSwatini.
Siyabonga indzaba yalo SIP 2 angithi nje indlela yasebenza ngayo iweight isitile kakhulu. We got really surprised kule work ethic labasebenza ngayo ne efficiency labasebenza ngayo. We are very grateful to them. Lo SIP 2 udzinga infrastructure yokuthi kutohlangana kahle kuniseleke kahle. Uyifakile iweight infrastructure wayifaka sahamba sayibuka ukuthi isebenza kanjani. It's a state of the art kind of infrastructure. Sase sesibuka ke ama activities laba wenda ukuthi bendani la kulama activities of course ukhona mobu yahlanyelwa, but we have decided not to put our eggs in one basket. This time nje sifake bo banana, safake ma fruit trees, and in some other areas safaka tilwane letifuywa kwesentela lokuthi kube khona le diversity lencane singabuketi nje kushukela kuphela. Otherwise that is a very good project. Siyabonga kakhulu nje ku iweight lokuthi ayibambe ngalendlela la ibambe ngayo.
Kugcina nje mngoni ni allocate 1.5 billion amalangeni as the ministry. Are you happy ni ingabe vele mhlambe le mali itawukhona yini ku service onke ama programs lawa onke ama projects lawa labhekene nani as a ministry?
We are happy, angisho njalo. Happy especially because we consider ourselves as part of government. And the city consider even now when they were le budget, we realized loko ukuthi lama resources vele amancane wona wasimaningi. But nakutasinika nje opportunity ukuthi sikhone kuhamba siyo serve live kule mandate yethu lesinikwe yona ye food security. We cannot sit back sipho ukuthi mhlambe imali ayinela asithathe kona lele sinako sive sihambe siyosebenza. Siyabonga kakhulu ema allocations ethu sicabanga ukuthi sitawasebenzisa kahle ku onke lama projects la ladzinga ukuthi support abalimi, because priority yethu lenkulu ukuthi we realize ukuthi as government ngeke si achieve a food security sisodwa. So we might as well include the farmers who will be actually producing lokhu lokufuna ukuthi kulinywe kondlele sive. So ke ema farmers siyawabongela nawo kakhulu ukuthi sitawukhona kwanika support through ema extension services.
Kuma kugcina njengaka kudedele babe semelana mhlawumbe lenye inkinga nje level lengiyenzaba eclimate change. I think ikhulunywa kakhulu ngale etiko la tourism and environmental affairs lokuthi vele uhulumende usebenele ekuthenini kube nale early warning system naloko kutantsita neze ministry kudenda ukhona ukuthi ni alethe ebalimi ngabe vele mhlambe inkinga kangakanani nje yona indaba climate change kuma farmers.
Yes, indaba climate change vele isethusile kakhulu. Besi ibuka nje ukuthi climate change ikhona iyendeka vele, but we were not so sure lokuthi noma ke we were not aware lokuthi we will be the first victims of climate change. Climate change na ifika ishintsha lema weather patterns now. Ngeke kuhlala unga affecteki ungumlimi, ngeke iproduction yelive ihlale inga affecteki. Ema predictions nje labasendele wona for Southern Africa ayasikhombisa ukuthi lama storms vele sidaba nawo abe maningi futhi atawuphinza aba intensive, meaning ukuthi lamatshe latawukuwa lapha nalina lelitulu ligcoba akusesile size le normal vele sekutaba ngama storms lamakhulu kakhulu latawubulala naloku lesesikulimile. Nguleso nje stress lesinaso kakhulu ukuthi asesibabukise balimi ukuthi singa mitigate kanjani lesimo se climate change. sisebenziseke ema-technologies lamanye lesawa promoter njengelitiko kokuthi le ndzaba ya climate smart agriculture asiyiphushe vele kuhambe yona embili so that tilimo tebalimi tibe protected tingabi exposed kule weather lenje.
All right, thanks so much. Isma kakhulu mngweni kuba nathi on the show mbukeli. Sawuthi vele inhlelo ke leto kanye nama projects la chuchwa ngeloli tiko leteklima lithole 1.5 billion emalangeni kumaphakelo elive. Sibahlotshema ngetesta buye netindzaba singisi.
Kude lesinye isikhathi ngaphandle
Welcome back. This is the news at 7. Their Majesties have summoned Letango Regiment to deliver their Bukanu at Hlane Royal residence. This was revealed by the acting Induna of the Lubombo region, Pindile Tabete, when making an announcement at Eswatini Royal residence. The Marula ceremony is expected to start on the 8th until the 10th of March.
Lalela ngikutshele tindzaba letibuye enkosini uyeswana uthokandaba ulodungandaba semambondweni bayethe wena waphakathi
phezu komkhono ngikuthunywa ngawo emakhosi Luthango kufanele ukuthi livunule umhelwanelo orange ngemgcibelo bese ngelisondo livunula umhelwanelo obomvu lungavunule mabalabala Luthango abe luhle lukhethete ngalelo langa bayethe wena waphakathi.
Senate has praised and appreciated His Majesty King Mswati III's speech during the opening of the 12th Parliament. This follows a motion that was moved.
The Senate resumed with its parliamentary business. The Right Honourable Prime Minister, His Excellency Russell Dlamini, moved a motion in the House where he was beseeching the Senate to go and thank the speech that was delivered by His Majesty King Mswati III during the official opening of the first session of the 12th Parliament.
Inkulumo yayo inkosi yaba comprehensive kube bengasho kanjalo ngesilumbi letinye tingoni ngete ngatitsinza tonke kodwa ke ngidakhuluma leti mqoka nje ukuthi inkosi yakhuluma ngemnotho kweqala nje ngoba konke kuncike emnothweni nasifuna kulwa ne-unemployment ufuna ukuthi kukhule umnotho nasifuna kulwa nato tonke letinhlungu letikhona letavele esibayeni tonke tigcile ukuthi umnotho ube ngilokahle lotawukhona ukuthi ukhicite usimame kodwa ke lo umqoka kakhulu inkosi yakhuluma la ukuthi umnotho wethu sengakhula kakhulu kunalokho lokhule ngawe eminyakeni lophelile ukhule ngendlela yokuthi ukhona ukusekela sive ukuthi sihlale kahle akhanza ke kumqoka kakhulu kweloko ukuthi vele lapho uhulumende fanele agijime khona yaphinze imbuko yemhlaba yathinza stabilization fund lesikhwama lesenta ukuthi usimama umnotho nalapho khona mhlawumbe imali eqhamuka ngaphandle tingasito letanele ukuthi sisakhiwe sikhuliswe leso sikhwama yenza futhi yakhuluma ngokuthi ngetulu nje kwaleso sikhwama kufuna ukuthi live lifike lapho kubhekeke khona ukuthi sale khona kudimela lingasanqiki etimalini leqhamuka ngaphandle.
Senators took turns in appreciating the speech from the throne and also supporting the motion that was moved by the Prime Minister. Standing Order 194, subsection 3 and 4 allows the President of Senate to go and thank every address that has been made by His Majesty King Mswati III. The standing order also gives the Senate President the authority to be accompanied by 3 senators. Indeed, those senators were elected by the House. The senators who will accompany the President, Lindiwe Dlamini, include Senator Tony Sbanze, Prince Togoma, and Senator Stuki Mosa. The House was adjourned sine die by His Excellency the Right Honorable Prime Minister. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I'm Linton Kule in Parliament.
The Minister for Labour and Social Security, Honourable Pilar Buthelezi, expresses gratitude following the announcement of substantial increase in the scholarship budget. The increase, totaling to 647 million malangeni, marks pivotal moment in government's commitment to education. The Minister was speaking in Parliament after the budget speech.
The 650 million Malangeni allocation signifies the tangible steps forward in addressing the financial challenges faced by students pursuing higher education. Speaking after the budget, the Minister for Labour and Social Security, Honourable Pilar Buthelezi, says this financial boost will enable the ministry to undertake comprehensive reviews of existing allowances, thereby ensuring more equitable and accessible educational opportunities for all.
Lo 647 njengoba besikhona ukuthi labo bantwana laba ku 3500 ama first years siba caterisha over and above lalaba ongoing. Lobe kuthatha inombolo yabantwana lesiba caterishela ko to slightly above 42,500. Kuta senda sikhona ukuchubeka sisebenza abadema scholarships sikubhadala tuition nabo ma personal allowances. Siba sponsorisha ngekhathi nakuSadak region kodwa ke sitawetama ngoba bengeke sathola lokunengi nangabe kude kuzama kunediswa.
We have been tasked to ensure that students live quality lives while studying. We also need to do a review on tertiary fees and just improve service delivery for eMaswati.
The budget will also cater for tertiary institutions for local and international institutions. The budget will also cater for the additional of 1,000 more scholarships. Eswatini TV News, Sondomlangeni, Parliament.
The Ministry of Information, Communications and Technology shall continue supporting government ministries to leverage technology in ensuring that service delivery is decentralized for the benefit of all eMaswati. This was said by the Minister of ICT, Honorable Savannah Mazia, after the delivery of the budget speech for 2024-2025.
The park is an integral part of Kula digitization of the country, to expand the ICT kuleli vele the park as an engine room, along as nama regulators na konke lokukhona lapho manje siyakubonga lokho and siyabonga ukuthi Minister of Finance when they a speech that is really amazing ngoba it's a balancing act. Sonke sifuna kumayiti more and sonke sibuke yena ukuthi asinike more, but kufuna sifunze ukusebenza within our means. Sifuna ukuthi what can we achieve with what we've got.
The Minister for Health, Honorable Mduduzi Matsebula, declares that the ministry is continuing its efforts to provide health services to the people through decentralization. The ministry has been allocated 3 billion malangeni, which accounts for 10% of the national budget as tabled by the Minister for Finance, Neil Reichenberg.
Indzaba yekudecentralize noma yekwenabisa ema-services zethu sivele sisete kwayo kufaka ekhathi yona leyo yokugeza tinso. Etinyangeni letitako nje sifuna kuyovula esipiki abese siphindze siyavula nase eLubombo.
As the Ministry of Health, we will plan to further expand our decentralization efforts nationwide. Notable renal and dialysis units will be established in the Lubombo region and in Pikes Peak. This initiative aims to alleviate queues and ensure efficient health services for all eMaswati. Additionally, the ministry is committed to enhance psychiatric services by establishing similar centers in various regions. This move seeks to ensure accessibility and consistency in mental health care across the country. Ensuring adequate availability of medications in hospitals remains a crucial priority for the ministry. Further demonstrates dedication to improve healthcare delivery nationwide.
Lokutsinzako nje kwenza batemithi nako kungilokunye lokupriority kokuthi imithi ayitholakale etibhedlela.
The government of Eswatini is determined to ensure the growth of the tourism sector through the Big Five National Park project, which is projected to contribute 0.26% to the country's GDP by 2027. The Minister for Tourism, Honorable Jane Mkonda, is committed to working hard to achieve the growth of the tourism sector.
The government of Eswatini remains steadfast in its commitment to growing the tourism industry, emphasizing the projects that will elevate Eswatini as a premier destination. During the budget speech, the Minister for Finance highlighted the significance of the Big Five National Park in contributing to the national's GDP.
Nathi sitawugijima kakhulu siyisebente indzaba ya Big Five njengoba itsinziwe ngekhatsi ngoba ngiyona project noma ngona msebenzi longona utasihungela noma kukhanga tivakashi.
The Minister for Tourism, Honorable Jane Mkonda, says the ministry is fully committed to fostering the growth and sustainability of Eswatini's tourism industry. The Big Five National Park is a key element. This project will not only enhance the tourism sector, but also provide substantial job opportunities for Eswatini, contributing to the socio-economic development of the nation. For Eswatini TV News, Sondomlangeni, Parliament.
The Ministry of Finance, Neil Rackenberg, has presented a national budget worth 29.42 billion for the year 2024-2025. Government has allocated 1.5 billion to the Ministry of Agriculture. The Minister of Agriculture, Amandla Chauka, extends gratitude to the government for allocating funds to provide food security and increase sustainable agricultural productivity.
The Minister of Agriculture, Amandla Chauka, says that the funds allocated to the ministry will be used to provide sufficient food security for the country Eswatini.
Project latawuphela owabalile mfuna temafak nema project lamcoka latawuletha ukuthi kube nentuthuko kutemnotho eveni.
There are important projects that will contribute in the country's economy. The money will be used wisely as far as agriculture is concerned. We are very grateful with the allocation that we've received this year.
Budget iyasinika lithemba nathola ugcina ukuthi live litawukhula, live litawuphumelela, live litawusimama.
The ministry is working on agricultural projects where farmers will be trained and supported financially in order for them to be able to feed their families and help fight poverty. Reporting is Cindy Swazwane with Mbongwa Dube, Lobamba.
The Minister for Tinkhundla and Administration, Honorable Sikumbuzo Dlamini, has welcomed the 2024 budget allocation for his ministry totaling to 440 million malangeni. The minister says there are 177 million malangeni on budget for the Regional Development Fund will indeed develop Eswatini communities.
The Ministry of Tinkhundla and Administration has received a substantial allocation of 400 million malangeni. Out of this allocation, 177 million malangeni has been designated for the Regional Development Fund project, with a key focus on poverty alleviation efforts across the 4 regions. The Minister for Tinkhundla, Honorable Sikumbuzo Dlamini, has underscored the importance of these funds in addressing socio-economic challenges at the grassroots level.
Basically, Tinkhundla lokuningi kakhulu ma reforms kunetikhwama etikhona tinkhundleni tawukhumbula ukuthi RDF ukuthi longanda kushito Minister Finance nge-RDF sizathu lokuthi sibambisene naye lokubukusana lokuthi asasiyende ama reforms kule mithetho yayo RDF than lokuthi siphambe imali silive gcine kwakhona sigcine ngale ngemuva singabona standende imali lenyalo nje ikakhulu etikweni la finance na tinkhundla kune exercise ku review ama regulations phinze etinto letinkundla kunemsento omkhulu lesitawenda kulomnyaka financial year umsebenzi we monitoring.
Dlamini emphasized the critical role played by RDF projects in uplifting communities and fostering sustainable development. The minister highlighted the ongoing efforts within the ministry to review the RDF regulations. The objective behind this review is to ensure that allocation funds serve their intended purpose effectively, which reflects the government's commitment to optimizing resources, allocation, and enhancing accountability in development endeavors. The minister says the review process aims to assess the impact and efficiency of the RDF project, ensuring that they align with the goal of poverty alleviation and regional development. Eswatini TV News, Sondomlangeni, Parliament.
Following the delivery of the 2024-2025 budget speech by the minister, some members of parliament that spoke to Eswatini TV say they are ready to get down on their work, as government has a mandate to ensure that all Eswatini attain meaningful development in various spheres of life.
La ngike ngayibuka khona kakhulu ngalesikhathi sema-taxes ithi abantu naba bakhala ngemithelo ukuthi bona lo 500 lokwenyuka kwe-VAT ye-900 ngokhanza kithi amabhizinisi tawa-reliever lalamanye lamancane asakhula.
It is in line with the aspirations of the people as expressed at Sibaya, and also in line with the King's speech. By that I mean two issues: economic growth, which means job creation and stuff, and also improvement on service delivery.
I'm already in the Nkwe growth mode because lendlela la presenting ngayo in Vona, it was so clear. And I like the way, looking at transparency, the way he was presenting it. I present it's from this to this, and a number of key, like the health department. That's the main concern. The main attention is paid to the health department, of which live likhala kakhulu ngehealth.
Sibonga nje ukuthi kuyavela ukuthi uhulumende utimisele ukuthi scholarship sitholwe ngowonke umntwana lebamthethe emanyuvesi nekuva ukuthi kube nema capital projects latoba khona siyawabona amathuba emsebenzi ukuthi ataba khona abesedu.
So quite a huge increase on imisebenzi yahulumende lefayikhathi temfundo, tempilo, infrastructure, almost the key projects that ingwenyama liyakhuluma ngawo nema projects la coverishwa esibayeni. We saw them being tabled ku budget speech ya Minister of Finance.
A forensic audit into acquisition and distribution of medicines to public health facilities in Eswatini report indicates that senior officials listed in the supplementary reports have a case to answer regarding the allegations of conflict of interest, money laundering, corruption, and collusion cited against their names. The report further indicates that the conflict of interest relates to monies received by certain officials from certain government suppliers, as well as gratification received which violates the prescription of government.
The forensic audit into acquisition and distribution of medicines to public health facilities in Eswatini report indicates that there is a pure supply chain management processes, poor governance over medicines and drug administration, poor internal controls and weak payment systems, inadequate systems, manual systems wastage, expired drugs, and improper ordering fraud, as well as corruption and conflict of interest. Some of the key findings include that large quantities of drugs and medicines did not and do not make their way to the public health facilities when they have been paid for. Certain suppliers have found a way of abusing the system by dumping stock which has not been ordered, knowing that certain public officials will facilitate payment therefore. The report further states that certain suppliers do not deliver the full stock of drugs despite a huge payments being made or expenditure being incurred. Meanwhile, certain public officials cause government to incur fruitless and wasteful expenditure in that they have allowed others that were out of sync with the demand as detected by diseases profiles and consumer patterns, leading to overstocking and drugs expiring. The auditors found that there were possible duplicate payments made to certain suppliers, and in one instance amounting to 68 million emalangeni. Also, there were possible fraudulent and fruitless and wasteful expenditure, in one instance amounting to 7 million paid towards a service provider in respect of donated trial drugs, which should not have been paid for. According to the report, certain suppliers were overpaid, as in one instance to the tune of about 8 million emalangeni, in that they were awarded a tender of 2 million and ended up being paid 10 million emalangeni. Auditors further identified payments made in respect of years 2021-2022 and a portion of 2023, which were made without orders valued at 1.1 billion emalangeni. The Central Medical Stores reported over 81 million emalangeni of expired medicines reported over 2 years under review, 2020 to 2021 to 2021 to 2022. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla Mbabane.
The Senate of the University of Eswatini has resolved to postpone the end-of-year examinations at the University of Eswatini. This was disclosed by the university's registrar, Dr. Salebona Simelane, who explained that initially the exams were scheduled to start on February 26th, but due to unforeseen circumstances, they had to be deferred.
The Senate took a decision this morning at its meeting that examinations should be postponed by 1 week. And that effectively means that exams will resume on Monday next week. That is for Liango campus as well as Gwaluseni campus, because Mbabane campus is not involved in this. So basically the postponement it came about because as we were preparing to administer the examinations this morning, it transpired that some invigilators didn't show up for invigilation. But then, of course, we've not yet established the precise reasons why, but one may simply allude to the fact that there were some issues that were tabled last week, and they were tabled by the staff unions. But then maybe I would not want to delve much into that issue. I think what is important is just to make it clear that yes, indeed, the exams did not go ahead as planned or as scheduled. However, we look forward to next week, Monday, when we expect the exams to resume.
Palestinian Prime Minister Mohammed announced on Monday the resignation of his government, which rules parts of the occupied West Bank, citing the need for change after the Israel-Hamas war in Gaza ends.
In Ramallah, a shakeup at the Palestinian Authority as Prime Minister Mohammed Shtaya announced his and his cabinet's resignation Monday. Shtaya saying that new political measures are needed after nearly 5 months of a devastating Israeli siege on Gaza.
This decision is based on the genocide, forced displacement, starvation of people in Gaza, and the intensification of settlements, settler terrorism, and ongoing incursions and reoccupation of refugee camps, villages and cities in Jerusalem and the West Bank.
His resignation comes amid mounting pressure from the U.S. and other Western countries for reforms at the Palestinian Authority, amid hopes that it could assume governance over Gaza when the war ends. That will be easier said than done. Decades of Israeli coercion have turned the PA into what many Palestinians call a subcontractor of the occupation, administering shrinking territories in the West Bank as illegal Israeli settlements multiply, with Israel controlling tax revenues and imposing increasingly oppressive restrictions on Palestinian life. 88-year-old PA President Mahmoud Abbas is increasingly unpopular and ineffective amid widespread perceptions of corruption. Palestinians are angry that he hasn't taken a harder line against Israel's invasion of Gaza and rising violence in the West Bank. Despite its designation as a terror group by the U.S. and Europe, Hamas, whose October 7th attack on Israel killed nearly 1,200 people, has gained in popularity since the start of the war. The PA and Hamas have been negotiating the possibility of a unity government, with representatives set to meet in Moscow this week. That outcome would almost certainly be rejected by the Israeli government.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said Sunday his country's victory depends on support from the West and expressed hope the United States would approve a critical package of military aid.
Few kilometers from the front line, these Ukrainian soldiers wait anxiously for their next battle. Weapons from the West that they were promised still haven't arrived yet, despite Russian attacks on the southern and eastern fronts. Their stocks are running out.
Our warehouse used to be full of ammunition, hundreds of rounds. Today, there's only about 20% left, and deliveries are much less frequent than they used to be.
For Ukrainian officials, the outcome of that scenario is clear. President Volodymyr Zelensky says Ukraine will likely lose the war without the Western arms needed to withstand Russian attacks. Kyiv is waiting for help from its main ally, the United States. Divisions between Republicans and Democrats has kept a $60 billion military and financial package stalled in Congress, putting a halt on U.S. shipments for now. During a forum dedicated to the second anniversary of Russia's invasion, the Ukrainian president said he had hoped that the aid will eventually pass through, but still made a fresh appeal for more assistance.
Whether Ukraine will lose, whether it will be very difficult for us, and whether there will be a large number of casualties depends on you, on our partners, on the Western world. If we will be strong with weapons, we will not lose. We will win.
It's a sentiment echoed by Ukraine's defense minister, who says half of all Western aid has been delayed.
50% of commitments are not delivered on time. So basically, if whatever was promised doesn't come on time, we lose people, we lose territories, allowing Russian forces to make gains.
Zelensky says 31,000 Ukrainian soldiers have been killed in the 2 years of war. It's a rare acknowledgement of setbacks from the Ukrainian side, who haven't given an official figure in over a year.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky suggested on Sunday that plans for Kyiv's long-awaited counteroffensive last year had been leaked to Russia ahead of time. Ukraine's counteroffensive in 2023, powered by billions of dollars in Western arms, largely fell flat.
It was powered by billions of dollars in Western arms. Yet Ukraine's counteroffensive in 2023 fell short of expectations. It didn't manage to break through Russian defenses. Now Ukraine says it's leaks that hampered its push last year.
47 covert networks were identified last year. Over 2,000 suspected traitors have been apprehended since the beginning of the war, and more than 5,000 collaborators.
Volodymyr Zelensky has admitted that Moscow got its hands on Ukraine's plans even before the counteroffensive began. For this year's push, the Ukrainian president says they've learned their lesson, that multiple secret plans have been prepared. But nonetheless, the weaponry shortages, delays in receiving ammunition, and fears of wavering support from abroad, they could make for a difficult spring.
It will be a difficult March and April for us. We'll be going through different waves, political, financial, and other pressures. Russia will be preparing a counteroffensive in late May or the early summer if they can. They will be preparing, and we will be preparing for their battle.
Now, with the war in its third year and amidst a string of Russian advances, Ukrainian forces are struggling to keep up morale. This, as Kyiv admitted, some 30,000 soldiers have been killed since the war began.
In our sports news, Minister for Sports Honorable Bongani Nzima says the increase of Somhlolo National Stadium rehabilitation budgets from 15 million malangeni to 35 million will fast forward the process of getting the venue sooner than expected.
Somhlolo besiyayisithole ibudget le around 15 million. But this time around isikhonile kuthola ibudget ya 35 million. Lesikholwa ukuthi asipusha towards attainer lokuthi bas accredite sikwathi kudlala kangwane. Sibukile nje ukuthi nakufika laba CAF la kubo May June vele kufanele bese sithe nkwe sesitibeke ethi neline ngokuthi siyakhona uhosta ema games.
The Zimbabwe Swallows versus Zimbabwe Highlanders in the semi-finals of Ngonyama Cup, while defending champions Green Mamba will play Young Buffaloes. This was the outcome of the draw held at Singapetelo NBA Fund headquarters in Mbabane.
Ngonyama Cup will be entering the semi-final stages with the biggest game to see the Mbabane derby between Mbabane Swallows and Mbabane Highlanders. In another game, defending champions Green Mamba will play Young Buffaloes. Speaking during the draw, chairman of the tournament, His Royal Highness Prince Tlangabeza, shared a message coming from His Majesty King Mswati III.
Ingonyama ilibonga ingakhawuli ukuthi langalela langa nasembe emhlabeni siyakuhlangana le nasekubonakala ukuthi kuhlanganwa nini iyawufike nayo ithokote kambe beni ihlangene nani ibukela bekunene yathi asibike vele empeleni malangeni ukuthi indlela lenhle kambe kusayiwa vele empeleni kiwo kambe lomdlalo ayethe
Other speakers included Chief Executive Officer of Ngapetero MVA Fund and Tournament Management Committee, who all wished all the 4 teams all the best. Other games will be played on the weekend, or rather on Sunday, the 10th of March this year at Somplo National Stadium. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabrice Msonera, Babane.
It's 28 minutes after 7. We've come to the end of our news. Thank you for staying with us. Let's take a break. We'll be back.
Be sure to catch Business Watch every Wednesday between 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., where we feature the latest updates on business news, market trends, and exclusive interviews with industry leaders, as well as insights on emerging small and medium enterprises in the commercial sector. Business Watch, your business leader.
Renewal of TV licenses for 2024 is now open. Here is a quick reminder. A viewer's TV license costs 180 emalangeni per device. Other accessories such as decoders and set-top box cost 50 emalangeni per device. For traders and repairers, TV license costs 300 emalangeni per business area. And now, to pay your TV license, use these following methods. You can use MTN Mobile Money with the number 762222000 or dial *007 *3 *7#, or you can use Eswatini Imali. You can pay our TV license at any post office in the country. Another option is you can use any NetBank branch using our TV license account number 119900430037. Don't forget, when paying for your viewer's TV license, reference with your PIN at all times. And when paying for a retailer TV license, reference with your TIN at all times. For more information, call us on 7802-4543 or 34050163 or 34020879. And you can send us a WhatsApp message on 762222000.
It's 31 minutes after 7, we will reflect on Minister Neil Reichenbach's finance budget speech from yesterday. We'll start with the health sector.
Of Eswatini remains a core priority for government. We are pleased with the notable achievements made so far, which include the surpassing of UN AIDS target for treatment and viral suppression of HIV and AIDS, in accordance with the 2025 target date. This provides clear evidence of the effectiveness of the country's HIV treatment programs. In collaboration with health partners, we were able to implement programs and interventions that greatly assisted in containing the COVID-19 pandemic and keeping its mortality rates to about 2%. In light of the lessons learned from the pandemic, government has constructed and commissioned pressure swing absorption oxygen plants at Tatikulu Government Hospital and in Hlangano Health Center, with capacity to refill oxygen cylinders for clinics in the region. With support from UNICEF, we have further constructed solar power plants at Tatikulu and in Hlangano to reduce electricity costs. There's also been a great improvement in the network of health facilities countrywide, as we are implementing a policy to have a health facility within every 8-kilometer radius. This has been done through constructing and operationalizing more health facilities in all 4 regions of the country. These include clinics at Hlane, Nkomazi, Togoto, the one at Luve, Makwanyana, and Tikuba. Mr. Speaker, the health system has serious challenges with inherent structural weaknesses and capacity constraints. The health sector has been struggling with an acute shortage of key inputs such as human resources, procurement of drugs and medical supplies, security controls, fuel and hospital management, which have led to disruptions in providing essential health services. The drug shortage has had a negative impact on patient care as well as significant financial implications. The problem of drug shortages can be managed by streamlining the supply chain and introduction of new rules and regulations, largely strengthening the health system through investments in skill, technology, equipment, and applying evidence-based policy decisions are key to achieving better quality health care. Through the transformation of the central medical stores, government will improve procurement and supply chain management systems for drugs. Currently, we are preparing the legislation for central medical stores to be a standalone entity, eventually becoming an SOE, meaning that government will only pay for medication once it is proven to have been supplied to the relevant patients. Notwithstanding the challenges, government remains committed to prioritizing the health sector by providing additional resources to ensure that the gains that have been realized on HIV and TB and other diseases are not reversed. Going forward, health outcomes will be improved in order to ensure that Eswatini live healthy and productive lives, resonating His Majesty's speech from the throne that no Eswatini should die from lack of proper health services. This will be attained through an honest, efficient, equitable, client-centric health system that accelerates attainment of the highest standards of health for all Eswatini and everyone living in the Kingdom of Eswatini. Mr. Speaker, in the upcoming financial year, government will fully operationalize the emergency and referral complex at Mbabane Government Hospital. This facility will be prioritized so that it can treat complicated cases, whereby significantly contributing to improving the health status of the population. Also, construction of Nduna Yitini and Ntondozi clinics, as well as the rebuilding of the Gamfishane clinic is ongoing. These facilities will increase access to the nearby communities to quality primary health services. Mr. Speaker, with a high number of patients requiring dialysis, government intends to expand the renal services to at least 2 more hospitals, which are Pigs Peak Government Hospital and the Good Shepherd Catholic Hospital. This will bring the number of health facilities providing this critical service to 5, meaning that the services will now be available in all 4 regions of the country. Mr. Speaker, the outcry at Sibaya around the problems in the Ministry of Health, as well as from the public in the submissions for the budget speech on the virtual platforms, emphasized the need for additional funding to turn around the Ministry of Health. And for this reason, we have allocated 250 million emalangeni more to the health budget, bringing it to a budget of 3 billion emalangeni. This represents 10% of the total budget.
Finance Minister Neil Reichenberg presenting on the budget allocation for the health sector. 3 billion emalangeni that has been allocated for the health sector. Of course, an increase of about 240 million when compared to last year's budget allocation, which is quite interesting. And I'm happy that, you know, as he's presenting, he's making it candid and very frank. He's frank, analyzing the fact that they did table it in reflection to the speech from the throne, which also highlighted the immediate and urgent responsibility that the 12th Parliament has in making sure that the health services are brought closer to the people. And of course, Lulu, asakhuluma indzaba ukuthi vele lama services lawa enabela esiveni uyawabala lama projects la tawuchubeka ikakhulu nje lengithokotisako umuntu waseshiselweni the construction of sibhedlela sakanduna Sithini. I think about 4 years ago, I believe 2019, when it was commissioned, ukuthi nangemambala kufuna kusukela umsebenzi loyo longangelunga leParliament khona David Cruz and Gampalala did receive people from the Ministry of Health as well as government officials. Kutawubuka indzawo lesitawubekwa khona leso sibhedlela leso sive sakanduna sithile kwaba indzaba lesiyethabela kakhulu you know. It's been a long time coming. Finally, it is being promised with the financial allocation. Shothi vele lesibhedlela sitawakhiwa, but akusesokphela ubalena lesinye kamfishane lokuvetayo nje ukuthi vele lama services enabela lesiveni lena emakhalo lokutaba info letawusita kakhulu sive semaswati.
Of sema service injustice, I think besikhuluma na principal secretary Khanya Mabuza naye wayigcizelela indzaba yokuthi vele bayayisebenta kakhulu indzaba yoku-implementa le policy lokuthi sive semaswati sihambe libanga lelinganga 8 kilometers uma ngabe siya khona emitfolampilo. Indzaba lena nayivetile nje sifiso naye Minister Neil Rackenberg lokuthi vele timali titawukhokhwa lokuthi takhiwe letibhedlela, and also tindzaba nje tekwakhiwa kwetibhedlela kutangota nema-renal services etibhedlela tifake ekhatsi letisespiki kanye ne-Good Shepherd Catholic Hospital njengoba avetile nje Minister ukuthi inombolo yebantfu labadzinga i-dialysis tiyanyuka kakhulu. Ngakho-ke it's important ukuthi nahulumende awangete lama-services kuletibhedlela letikhona. Kunemvelo lakukhulumile ngayo indzaba ye-health alokuthi vele is one of the key sectors, one of the critical sectors khona lapha even.
And not much was said ngenzaba yemdlavuza lungelele, and we know how much of a burden cancer is, but one wants to be optimistic. Indzaba yekubuka nje ukuthi sina 3 billion emalangeni loniketwe hlangothi lwetetempilo. You want to be optimistic ukuthi from that 240 million increase nangemambala belihlangothi lwaka cancer na batawubawela ke imali letawuba, you know, letawubonakala, because we've had this conversation quite a lot of time. Indzaba yokuthi i-cancer isihlupha kangakanani silive lakangwane, particularly cervical cancer, which we do, by the way, want to applaud the Ministry of Health for tinhlelo labasatendile kuzama kufundzisa emaswati awareness wise nendzaba nje kwekuthi salokutfolakala ke tindlela tekwekuthi salovele siyincoba we did see ukuthi sebaqalile bajova bantfwana labancane nge-HPV vaccine. We do hope ukuthi konke lokutinsaya kutempilo lonyaka kutawuba info yayitolo, we will see a really, you know, significant improvement ehlangothini lwetempilo.
Kanjani sifiso ngale mali lena njengoba ushido nje ukuthi kungetwe 250 million lo wakha lo 3 billion malangeni lokusho ukuthi vele dining letimvu letibhekene netikuletempilo nayo indzaba ye drugs shortage indzaba layitsinzile minister ukuthi vele itawusetshenziswa kakhulu, especially ngoba sikubonile vele eminyakeni lophelile patients akhala lamanye abhikisha ngaphandle etibhedlela akhala ngayo indzaba ye drugs shortage. Indzaba ke lena minister naye la addressile ukuthi vele itawubuketwa kabanti this year ngayo budget yaka health.
And for me, what is even more impressive with the approach that they are taking, besides, you know, ukuthi libandla sevele likhona lelivele liyisebenta leyo ndzaba leyo asifuni ukugitsa ligogweni ngaleyo ndzaba leyo, but you know, just hearing the official declaration at Tsenini, the central medical stores will be a parastatal now, I think is going to help us a great deal in addressing all the problems that had engulfed the CCM. Ikakhulu njengoba sive semaswati vele bekungilona nyeva lelikhulu ekuthenini sikhanza ukuthi sekushoda emaphilisi abantu labadzala abasakhona ukuphila, but the education and training sector nanayo-ke itfole allocation lesetulu kakhulu njengoba sathi ukuthi cishe education ne health kuvame kuba ngiwo ema-key priority sectors for justifiable reasons, of course. But let us listen to Minister Neil Rackenberg officially allocating 5 billion emalangeni, which is an increase of 1 billion .04 from last year's allocation.
During the 2023-2024 financial year, government approved a revised fee schedule structure for free primary education. Recognizing the necessity to address the challenging economic landscape, the Ministry of Education and Training embarked on amending the Free Primary Education Act of 2010. Government converted 794 temporary teachers into permanent and pensionable positions in the year 2023-2024 financial year. In the 2024-2025 budget, government has allocated 65 million emalangeni to continue with the conversion of temporary teaching positions into permanent roles to address teacher shortages and also contribute to the overall quality of education, providing students with a more stable and conducive learning environment. Mr. Speaker, government carried out a comprehensive review of special education needs manuals. These manuals are designed to cater for the unique learning requirements of students with special needs. In 2024 academic year, a pilot of these manuals is to be carried out in selected schools. The initiative is one way of ensuring mainstreaming inclusive education in our schools. To enhance the learning experience for special education needs students, soft copies of instructional materials have been uploaded using technologies through the assistance of our local and international development partners. This ensures that special education needs students can access educational content in formats that cater for their specific needs using these gadgets. Government's in the process of transitioning from a traditional paper-based approach to a more advanced and efficient web-based system known as DHIS2 for education. The system is designed to capture comprehensive data on individual learners in grade 0, primary, and high school, as well as teachers using their personal identification numbers. The primary objective is to ensure accurate tracking and accountability within the education system. The system will be critical in ensuring quick turnaround of the processing of free primary education grants to schools, human resource management within the Teaching Services Commission, linkage with the orphaned and vulnerable children at the Deputy Prime Minister's office, and other management information systems in government. Data capturing is at 90%, running concurrently with data cleaning and quality assurance. The target is to produce the annual education census report by March 2024. Institutionalizing the AES and A levels as qualifications beyond EGCSE is one of the means to improve on the quality of education, as well as respond to the outcry over the ending of the matric qualifications that learners from Eswatini have been accessing over the years. To this end, the pilot program is progressing well, and checkpoint assessments have been conducted for the first cohort. And for the next year, another checkpoint assessment will be conducted to inform implementation and possible rollout. This will enable our students to access university education anywhere in the world. Government continued the incremental rollout of grade 0 by ensuring an additional 80 classrooms, with 20 classrooms established in each of the 4 regions in the country. This brings the total number of public primary schools with grade 0 to 340, with an enrollment capacity of 8,500 learners. This accomplishment reflects substantial progress since the program's inception in 2018. The e-learning platform, referred to as the Learning Passport, has been launched after the development and customization of content for the core subjects at the secondary senior level, which is referred to as Form 4s and Form 5s. This initiative is critical in ensuring that students have access to educational resources, especially in times of disruption. E-learning platforms and multi-mode teaching methods ensure that students have access to quality education regardless of their location or circumstances. The initiative is ongoing, and the development of e-content for the remaining subjects at the senior secondary level. Government is allocating 3.94 billion emalangeni in the recurrent budget, 200 million emalangeni in the capital budget to the Ministry of Education and Training, 194 million emalangeni in the OVC fund, and 647 million emalangeni for scholarships, equaling a total of 5 billion emalangeni for the provision of education and training at all levels in the country. This represents 17% of the total budget spent on educating Eswatini.
17% total budget, of the total budget rather, spent on educating Eswatini. Quite a lot of money, then you get to the education sector. But I think for me, Lulu, what has been the most interesting development, Lonyaka, last year they spent around 65 million emalangeni to convert abotishara temporary to, permanent and pensionable. The nombolo nakayiveta minister, it's easy to say 794 labam converter from temporary to permanent and pensionable is a big number, but then again you do want to look at the nombolo ebanda bagraduatako ngemnyaka go teaching.
Basala 5 years.
5 years ago, Last year alone, Ngwane College graduated 570 graduates, so it does give us a bit of hope. Kubona ukuthi lo nyaka bangete 69 more million emalangeni ekuthenini iqhubeke le program yeconvert abotishela. And like he has said, what it factors in zaba yabotishela inzaba lenkulu kakhulu, the quality of education, it factors into that. So we do hope to see
what stood out for me like education in Zabeka ukuthi nakakhuluma inclusive education minister lokuthi kutawuba we got i-review ile last year in Zabayema special education needs manual, so this year vele itaqhubeke ibukede kabanti kuze manje accommodate abamfana mhlamba labathatha isikhathi ukuthi ba grasp information eclassini, so that is important as well. Kepha kumanje sibuke nje ukuthi ingabe indvuna iphakele litiko letekulima kanye natural resources and energy yabaphakela malini.
Mr. Speaker, government continues to support our farmers through the import subsidy program being implemented by the National Maize Corporation. The main goal is to increase productivity and production. It has been noted that the demand for services under this program has increased, and 59 million emalangeni has been allocated to address this. The Agriculture Revolving Fund is also proving to assist rural farmers, and an additional 35 million emalangeni will be allocated to this fund. Government has also embarked on significant capital investments in the agriculture sector. We are currently in the process of constructing the Mbageni Dam, which will provide water for irrigation and other developments mainly in the Shiselweni region. A sum of 630 million emalangeni in the budget has been allocated or has been earmarked for this in the 2024-2025 financial year. We are grateful to His Majesty, King Eswatini III, for conducting the sod cutting to mark the commencement of such an important project. Today, I've also tabled a loan bill to provide for the construction of the canal from that dam. Unlike previous bulk water infrastructure projects, for this project, we'll be constructing the dam, the canal, and the infield infrastructure at the same time, so that when the dam is complete, the holistic project can start supplying water to farmers straight away. This project should unlock a growth of 0.25% of GDP in 2026, 0.5% in 2027, and 2% in 2028. The LUCIP Phase 2 project has also been allocated a budget of 417 million emalangeni to bring it to completion, so that the nation starts to realize real returns from its utilization and feeding into the overall growth imperative in the medium term. As this project rolls out, it should give us a 0.5% growth in 2024, 0.5% growth in 2025, and 0.75% growth in 2026. Government's currently working on a holistic, integrated farming training program with associated loans, industry development, technical, logistical, and supply chain support to address the pressing issues of unemployment, poverty, and food self-sufficiency in response to the Sibaya submission. The nation will be engaged for input on this project before launching. This program is modeled to be able to release at least 0.25% GDP growth in 2026, 0.5% growth in 2027, and 0.75% growth in 2028. Government has allocated 1.55 billion emalangeni to the Ministry of Agriculture in the 2024-2025 financial year. Mr. Speaker, in the financial year 2023-2024, government managed to construct 8 major rural water schemes that benefited 14,000 490 people and provided water supply to 6 urban and peri-urban areas. Furthermore, government also managed to drill over 150 groundwater boreholes that benefited 4,500 homesteads throughout the country. The government will continue with the provision of potable water through the reticulation of water schemes and hand pumps to ensure that all eMaswati have access to potable water, as articulated by the submissions during Sibaya. The construction of the long-awaited Lomahasha Namacha cross-border water supply project is budgeted for and is expected to commence in September 2024 and will be implemented in 18 months. The 2 rural water projects remain ongoing, and the government has provided 275 million emalangeni for the Manzini Regional Water and Sanitation Project and 292 million emalangeni for the Shiselweni Water Supply and Sanitation Project. These projects are aimed at getting potable water to eMaswati living in the rural areas. Utility companies continue to suffer unprecedented damage to infrastructure resulting from climate change. This has necessitated redesigning their infrastructure in order to be more resilient to withstand these challenges. All eMaswati are requested to support efforts meant to protect the water and power sectors against network vandalism, which costs the country millions of emalangeni. The mining sector remains a subsector that has a potential to significantly contribute to the economy. A number of companies were granted prospecting and mining licenses in 2023-2024. If we're able to commission at least 2 large mining concerns per annum, this would add 2% to our GDP growth annually. Mr. Speaker, the government remains committed to driving renewable energy sources in the country in line with the pledge made at COP28. These projects include the expansion of the Maguga hydro plant by 10 megawatts, development of a 13.5 megawatt lower Makuduza hydro plant, the procurement of 75 megawatts, a solar power plant, and a 40 megawatt biomass power plant. A total capacity of 12.91 megawatts was authorized in 2023-2024 through license exemptions awarded to solar PV-based generators focused on self-consumption, aligning with ongoing initiatives to boost local generation capacity. If these energy projects and those in the pipeline are rolled out efficiently and effectively, they could add 0.25% to our GDP growth in 2024 and 2025, and 0.5% to our GDP growth in 2026, 2027, and 2028, respectively. Government's also undertaking projects to strengthen the electricity network infrastructure to ensure network resilience and reliability. These include constructing of a new 55-kilometer, 132 kVA transmission line from Eswatini via Kusile to Mbabane, to strengthen the backbone of electricity supply in the entire Hoho region. Through the assistance of the World Bank, EEC is constructing a new transmission line from Nhlangano to Lavomisa, including substations at Kluti, Matsanjeni, and Lavomisa, with the aim to strengthen the electricity network in the Shiselweni region. This project is 40% complete and is planned for completion in 2024. The project also includes the electrification of 8,000 households. The Rural Electrification Program is continuing through the Rural Electrification Access Fund with the aim to fast-track rural household electrification towards achieving 100% access to power by 2030. In the last 12 months, 11,000 households have been electrified.
Minister Neil Reichenbach, on the energy sector, renewable energy sources, quite an interesting conversation there. Developments that have already been happening, the geoscience mapping, particularly the mining sector. Just last week we saw His Majesty the King touring one of our mining developments more mining jobs should be open lapha Gangwane sithokozisa kakhulu lesifike sathana lithuba ukuthi sikhona ukukhuluma empikwaso silo semhlaba khona evikini leliphelile manje lokho interesting kakhulu ukubona ukuthi lemisebenzi seyivele icalile nalena ke lesithenjiswa ukuthi itawuqala mathudane kakhulu indzaba electrification nendzaba ukuthi emanti afinyelele kuto tonke tindzawo emimangweni.
Yeah, I think nalenye indzaba la ivetile ngeku tekulima indzaba yokuthi kutawuqala iprogram masinyane yekutraina balimi lapha eveni ukhuluma ngayo nje namabhalane lomkhulu ukuthi lena bayibuka ukuthi ayibe khona ngesikhathi kubanjwe i-youth summit yakhona tekulima so sesema nje ukuthi konke kuhamba kahle njengoba kuhleliwe kuwo emaphakelo elive. 2 minutes before 8 o'clock we've come to the end of our program namhla. Thank you for joining us. Sanibona kusasa ngemelanga.
Ababathembayo uJehova bafana nentaba isiyoni engeke yazanyazanyiswa kodwa emi kunaphakade. Mbukeli asingasuka enzaweni yethu noma ngabe simo simadima kangakanani asihlale uNkulunkulu. I know at times it takes long and you feel like God is not hearing your prayers. Let me tell you something. Lo nkulunkulu esimkhondako wethembekile. Usho njalo evini lakhe uthi whatever that we pray for it will come to pass. Mina nawe lefana sikwende ukuthi sibeke ithemba lethu kuye. Ngalamaveke mbukela ngithatha nathuba ngekuvusele ehlelo lakhe lihamba embili iGospel Impact. Lolu hlelo lapho khona sivumisana nomdzala wetinsuku. Kanti siphinde sihlale phansi nama gospel artists kuva kabandi ukuthi baqale njani in the music industry nokuthi batibona kuphi in the next coming years. Today on the show mbukeli we have an artist all the way from South Africa. We're so excited see Gospel Impact to see the love that we get in South Africa. Sinaye Busi wakankosi naye Fa wase Richards Bay. So if you want to see what I'm talking about, please make sure that you do not go anywhere.
Oh